Hello! This video is going to be all over the place and probably just edited on my phone. Today I want to make a name tag, you know, like the ones that say, hello, my name is, and then there's a blank space. I want to make it in that style, but I want to craft it out of felt. I think I'm going to use this color felt. It's kind of like a lavender, a bluish toned purple. And then I think I'm going to use a white or an off-white to go on top of this, maybe. And then I want to hand stitch it, like hand embroider it, maybe put beads and stuff. I'm going to cut out the shape that I want this to be, and I think I'll probably end up gluing this on the back of the felt, since the felt is the flimsier type of felt. Okay, now that I cut out a template, I'm going to use this to trace onto the felt so I could cut out the same shape in felt. I was going to use that purpley lavender color, but then I found this yellow. I really like yellow. It's my favorite color. I don't know, should I? Because then if I use this yellow, then I can't stitch like yellow symbols on it. I mean, I could if it were a different shade of yellow. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to stick to my gut and use the purple, because yellow would look really pretty on that. Typically the hello, my name is stickers are red with like a white section inside of it. This is a bit of an off-white color and it's covered in cat fur, as you can see, but so is everything that I own. I'm just going to freehand the shape of this little rectangle. Maybe start by cutting it a little bit bigger and then just keep trimming it down. I feel like I have a problem of being a perfectionist. I'm a Virgo, by the way. And it's something I really want to try and get away from in my crafting journey through life, just because I feel like being so obsessed with making my crafts perfect and neat and organized, one, makes my crafts not look like how I want them to look, because they often end up not looking homemade, and I like when they look homemade. I like when they look like I made it with my hands. And also it can be such an obstacle, like a mental obstacle to get through, because if I know something's not perfect, then I'll constantly just think about it and worry about it and want to redo it. So I'm trying to remember that it's okay if things don't look perfect. I think something in my brain just wants everything to line up really neatly and nicely. But yeah, I'm just going to eyeball this and just keep cutting it down, actually. Really makes you think. I think this is a good size. Okay, I used a glue stick to glue it down just to kind of hold it in place, and then I think I'm going to do a stitch around this. I always love the blanket stitch, which is the one that my cousin used around the bookmark. So I think I'm going to do that. And I want to make this pretty colorful overall, so maybe some sort of bright green would look good. So that way it can stand out from the purple, but then also if I add yellow, it won't blend in too much with that. I'm really happy with this color choice. I feel like this is me. This feels like me. This craft feels like me. But I also feel like for the longest time, I haven't been making fun crafts. Like, I have enjoyed the crafts that I've been making, obviously, but it's also super easy to, I don't know, I guess like set really high standards for yourself, especially the more you've been doing something, right? And I've been crafting for like at least 10 years or something. And so, over time my crafts have gotten better and more complex in nature. And although all of those things are great, it also means that I haven't really let myself create silly little crafts like this. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm finding immense joy right now in doing this. I love stitching. My favorite craft is just like anything that involves hand stitching and hand embroidery. I find it extremely relaxing and soothing. I feel like I've been holding myself to a very high standard, which has made me not be able to indulge in just fun, smaller things like this. And I think that's one of the goals that I want to set for myself this year, but also specifically I don't know, this month in February. Maybe make it a goal to also plan small crafts, or not plan them, but just make time and room for them, rather than just doing all the big projects that are always on my plate. I just finished this really big stained glass project and I'm extremely happy with it. Super proud of myself. But I'm having more fun crafting this right now. The stained glass project that I just finished was a sign that I assigned to myself. Nobody told me to make it, but it was for my boyfriend's tattoo shop. And it turned out really good. Super proud of myself. Very happy. I learned a lot while doing that. But it took forever, so I got really frustrated along the way, especially because I messed up a few times. And this is bringing me way more joy. Yeah, I have to do things like this more often. One thing that I often like to do when I need to transfer a design in order to embroider it is I like to make a template using paper. This isn't the most convenient method, but this is a very accessible method, meaning a lot of people can do this very easily with the supplies they have at home. So right now I'm kind of just cutting out the general shape of this section. That's way too narrow. So something like this. And then using this and the pencil so that I can fix it, I'm going to write my name how I want it to be embroidered. See, I think I'm drawing it too big. Will it fit? Yeah, okay, that fits. So what you do now is you grab a push pin, is that what you call these? Or thumbtacks? So the reason why you want to use a thumbtack over something just like a needle, one is because it's way easier to grip this and push it than to push a needle. That's gonna hurt your finger after a while. But also, you can't really tell, but you can see that the thumbtack is bigger. And you want to use something that's bigger because you're trying to make holes in this. So it doesn't really matter what you use. Okay, it kind of does. So you want to get some sort of fabric that's thick enough so that whatever you're working on, so my desk, doesn't get holes in it. But funny enough, I've done this before thinking that I was using enough padding, but I wasn't, so there are holes in my desk anyway. But then I'm just going to lay this on top, and you want to have it fairly flat. It's okay if it's bunched up, but it can't be just thrown all together because you're going to poke holes in your design. Okay, I think I need to fold this again. One thing you want to be mindful of though is whenever a line intersect, such as the top of the J and then the other line in the J, whenever a line intersects, you want to start with that intersecting point, because then you will make holes next to it, versus if you accidentally make a hole too close to the intersecting point, then you can't really easily make a hole where it intersects, because it will just rip through the paper and just form one giant hole. Alright, and then once you have all your holes poked, you'll just lay your design on top of your work, and then grab a pen and you kind of just like put a dot in every hole that you just made. This is not a fabric pen, so this will not go away. But I'm going to embroider on top of it, so it shouldn't matter as long as I make sure that I'm not making the pen bleed too much. I literally have to just put a dot. That's it. Don't hold it there or else it'll bleed and spread everywhere. Make sure you test it on like one hole. Just put a tiny little dot there and then check to make sure that the dot is indeed tiny. Oh god, I'm scared. Oh, I can barely see it. Okay, I think it'll be fine. One thing that I've been saying recently is you craft and you learn. Like you live and you learn, but you really do craft and you learn, because sometimes you have no idea what you're doing when you're crafting. And then you learn tips and tricks, and people who have been doing it much longer than you tell you advice that makes you think to yourself, why did I not think of that? I love crafting so much. Okay. Yep, it looks just fine. This is how your, I guess, template will look once it's transferred. But I'm going to kind of go in and continue making dots, but I'm going to fill in the gaps just so there's something more for my brain to follow. And I'm going to use the original paper template as a guide, because sometimes it's hard to tell where the lines connect. The O is confusing me because of the spiral. You can see the difference between where I added more dots and where I didn't, because you can definitely tell which letter is which. And then the last two, if you didn't already know what it said, maybe you couldn't tell what letters those were. Okay, perfect. Now I just need to figure out what thread I'm going to use. I think I like this one. It's not quite the same. It's a little bit more blue, and this one's a little bit more purple, but I like how vivid the color is for how dark it is. It's also like a pretty saturated blue. Okay, now I'm splitting it so that I'm only using 2 strands. First letter done. I think it's turning out pretty cute. The chain stitch always takes me on a roller coaster of emotions. I know you can't really see the detail because it's so small, but I love how the chain stitch looks. Like if you just Google chain stitch embroidery, it looks beautiful, but also you'll typically find images of machine chain stitch embroidery. So it's a beautiful stitch, and then I start doing it, and then it always looks so ugly while I'm doing it. Maybe I'm also just not that good at it, but then I think once you complete like a whole section or the whole thing in general, it starts to look good again. So I don't really know what it is, but I like the texture it brings. Again, it's hard to see. I think I'm glad that I chose to do this as opposed to a simple backstitch. Hello, it is the next day, and also sorry if you can hear Charlie playing games in the other room. I'm going to do the same thing that I did for this, which is poke holes in my template and then make the little dots inside so I can transfer the design onto the felt. And then I'm just going to embroider that. And then we'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to put like other little embellishments. One thing that I wanted to do initially, if you recall, is I initially chose this color because I thought yellow looked really good on it. Like yellow, like, I don't know, a star or something. I don't know. What do I know? Okay, I'm just gonna embroider right now. Bye. I said I was going to use a color similar to this felt color for the text, but I actually think I'm going to use this one, which has a little bit more of a pink tone to it. It is a very light pink, it's not that saturated, but I just want to continue the theme of adding as much color as I can. I don't know how much you can hear Charlie, but I think the game he's playing is called Arc Raiders? That might be wrong, but that sounds right. This kind of looks... This looks handmade, but like derogatory. I'm specifically talking about the lettering that I'm doing right now with the backstitch. It just does not look as nice as how I did my name. I think it looks even worse on camera. Oh. No, I'm not upset by it or anything. I do think it looks a little funny though, because I feel like my name just looks so well done in comparison. But this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say that I need to learn how to let go of wishing everything looked perfect and polished. Yeah, one of the things, the sayings that I wrote on my 2026 bingo for this year was the act of creating is more important than the result. Like, I've just developed really bad habits of constantly wasting my time scrolling and just doing things that I don't want to call them unproductive, because the goal is not to be productive per se, but like, it's just bad for me. They're not helping me in any way, and in fact I think they're making things worse, such as how scrolling will deplete your attention span. It will kind of give you a false sense of reality if you're always online. I forgot where that sentence was going. But the act of creating is more important than the result. Like, sometimes it's not even about crafts. Sometimes crafts is not about crafts. Crafts is about creating. It is about the process of doing something, of creating rather than consuming, of taking action versus not doing anything and just like rotting in bed. You know what I mean? I know I'm not the only one who kind of like gets this false sense of creativity from scrolling on Pinterest, and like, Pinterest is great. What I'm trying to say is that a lot of creative people, like you and me, I'm sure, we love creating, but sometimes we just don't have the motivation or energy for it or time. And so just like when people don't really have time to do their hobbies, they end up scrolling. And when you scroll on Pinterest specifically, and you're looking at all these creative ideas, it feeds into like what you want to believe about yourself, that you're creative. And while that may be true, obviously it's not good in excess if you're constantly just scrolling on Pinterest and telling yourself, yeah, I'm creative because I'm saving all these ideas that I'm going to do one day. But then you're kind of just doing that all the time and you're never actually acting on those ideas. I know that all too well. I forgot where I was going with that sentence too. Okay, now that the hello is done, I feel like the my name is has to be a different color. Also, do you see how not straight this is? Whatever. Anyway, so I was thinking, make it a different color. Don't keep using the pink. I was thinking an orange might be good, and this one's not really orange. It's more like gold. It's more orange than the yellows that I was talking about earlier, but I don't know. I have other oranges. Like, this one is like a fucking traffic cone. Oh my god, Charlie, shut up. Just kidding. I actually just found this orange, which I think works even better than that gold. I mean, look at all these colors together. I think that looks really good so far. Ta-da! I love that every block of text just got less and less legible. Like this, you could definitely read easily. And then hello, you can read, but it's getting fuzzy. And then this one with the color, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I think now I'm going to cut it out. I guess you know what I would do is I'll just start by cutting it a little bit bigger and then just keep trimming it down. Okay, at this point I think I'm just gonna take a bit of a leap, not a giant leap, but as you can see, the felt is still a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to straight up try to glue it down first and then trim away the excess. Hot glue, not hot glue. A glue stick is probably not the best choice for this, so I'm applying it liberally. Oh, that's pretty cute. Now imagine if I added stars. I think I could just eyeball this, maybe. Oh, yeah, that's cute. I'm trying to make another smaller star on the other side, but it's hard to cut out felt, especially when it's that small. Oh my god, bro, this one's a little less neat, and I feel like you can see the ink bleeding through on the front, but it's okay. Okay, I feel like I have to stop playing with it before I make it worse, but this is what we have. This is the back so far before I find a method for making this into an actual name tag. I feel like in my head I am seeing a picture of a pin with like some sort of removable backing that I can take from that pin and then steal it and put it onto here. But yeah, and I might have an old name tag from a previous job with a magnetic backing. Anyway, I gotta find it or go and get some from the craft store. This is what we have. I think it turned out really cute. I feel like I could have gone a little overboard if I wanted to add more, but like I said, this is a good stopping point because it looks cute. It gets the job done, getting my name out there, so that I could bring it to every craft night and wear this so that people who are coming for the first time can know my name. I don't even know if I explained why I was making this, but yeah, the reason I made this to begin with was because I go to this craft night and they do provide the hello, my name is stickers, so that if you wanted to, you could write your name and put it on a sticker and wear it so that people know your name more easily. And that's where I got the idea of making a permanent one that I could bring every week that shows off my craftiness and could maybe be a conversation starter. Anyway, I think this turned out really cute. I'm very happy that I was able to record a very low stakes video. I know that this wasn't the funnest thing to watch just because I didn't plan this and this is all probably going to be edited on my phone, but I appreciate you sticking with me and watching me craft, and hopefully I inspired you to do some crafting of your own, or maybe give you ideas for other crafts that you might be interested in doing soon. So that's it. Thank you for watching and goodbye.